In this episode of the SLO County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Sweasey, the team goes over some of the tricks you can use to get a much better mortgage rate using a local lender that can get creative, that involves betting on yourself and your ability to grow.
The 2-1, don't be afraid of it. I mean, use it to your benefit.
Also, Hal is super excited to introduce a new game to the podcast that is likely to be a staple of many Market Report episodes in 2024. Putting 2023 in the rearview mirror, here's James Bueno.
So I'm not supposed to talk about this because I've been told not to, but it is a gorgeous day outside in San Luis Obispo. It's not raining. There's nothing going on.
I'm going to give you a pass on this one today. The problem is I dress for December.
Yeah.
So I wear a sweater, I wear pants, and I go out of the office today, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
80 degrees.
It feels like it's 90 degrees. It's warm. Oh,
you know, John Turner dresses the same way in spite of the weather.
Right. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you lived in Wisconsin and we're going to Lambeau Field, I wonder, would you wear a rain spooner shirt and shorts?
I wouldn't live in Wisconsin and go to Lambeau Field.
Well, there you go.
Sorry, all my friends in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in case everybody is wondering,
I do like the cheese.
You have clicked on the recorded podcast of the SLO County Real Estate with Mr. Hal Sweasey, and he's here. How are you, sir?
I'm great, James. Thank you. And I got to thank James because you and Christina put on a great movie event that we have at the Fremont Theater.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, Santa was great. Kids had a good time. Even the adults had a good time.
Yeah.
There was one Grinch there, and he and Santa did not mix it up, so that was good. We kept them at different ends of the theater.
The Grinch and the
Grinch, yeah. He was a nice Grinch.
Yeah, he was.
So thank you, and everything looked really professional, and everybody had a good time.
It was fun. I try. That's what you pay me for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
For those of us that didn't get to go, was it Elf? Did Elf win?
It was Elf by a landslide.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Snow slide.
Snow slide. And then JT's here. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm great. You know, stick a microphone in front of me, I'm going to have a good time. I can't wait to start talking about Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. Is this a sports podcast or what?
It is now because you know what his annual earnings are?
Not much for a quarterback.
$870. You know the quarterback he beat, how much he makes for a year? $55 million.
Yeah, I think I'll take Brock.
When is he renewing his contract? After this
I don't know, but you know what? He was a good buy. Right?
Of course.
They got him below market, right?
Yeah, below market.
You get him at a deal for like 2 more years, which is incredible.
Yeah.
I hope they're buying his lunches or something because
time in the market.
Funny, there was one of the national broadcasts earlier this year. They were talking about he has a roommate.
Probably
He does.
Yeah. How's a 22-year-old going to live on $870,000 a year?
It is the Bay Area.
House hacking in the Bay Area.
I think the roommate's an offensive lineman, so Brock buys all his meals. You know.
Yeah.
He has to.
Well, then he needs the 870.
Very
endorsement deals and commercials and stuff like that.
I'm sure he's going to be okay.
I'm sure he's doing all right. All right, gentlemen, we have a podcast to get to. It's the beginning of the month. So what are we doing?
Which month is the beginning of? You paused there. You didn't know.
Well, I was debating whether or not to say the beginning of the month because Jeff doesn't like for me to give timestamps. So
this is market update.
Market update. It's December 2023.
It's going to be very time.
We're on it. No weather, no time, no nothing. No fun.
First Monday of the month. Okay. So you want me to talk about the market?
If you would, please.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what's going on, Hal?
In general, we have a few more houses that we had for sale about a year ago. So it's pretty stable when it comes to that. We actually had, compared to 1 year ago, more pending sales. So both a month ago, we have more than a month ago, and we have more than a year ago. So the stuff going under contract is good. Closed is down about 14 or 15%. So that number for the county was closed this year was 132. Year ago, like 155-ish, okay? So still a hardy market. Last year, we had 115 new listings come on the market. This year, we had 95. Last year, we had 161 closed, so more by about 46 properties more sold than came up for sale. This year, we had 98 new listings, and we had 132 that closed. Again, we have more selling that are coming on the market. We are seeing what seems like more days on the market, but we're going to have a little fun with that in a second.
When we look at the people who are buying properties in today's market, I was surprised to learn the percentage of cash transactions versus finance. Is that what you were talking about?
Still the same. I mean, not the same, but a really high number, over 50% of the transactions, and this is through the title companies who handle all the transactions, just not ours. Cash.
That's just amazing to me to learn that that statistic. If you think back a few years, and I don't know what normal is now after what we've been through. I wrote down the Grateful Dead song, "What a long, strange trip this has been the last 4 or 5 years in real estate."
Right.
If you think back to a normal market, what's the breakdown of cash versus? Do you even recall?
I would say anecdotally in my head, I'm thinking probably 15-20% are cash. And so let's take like the last week of the month in November. We had 3 properties that we had listed, and we put them in escrow. So one was, actually an investment property, 4 units. So that one had 13 offers, I think.
13 offers?
And went just shy. What's the difference between 1.5 and 1.7? How much is that? That's $250,000 over asking. And it went for cash.
Cash. 250
so
over asking.
Yeah, new to the market.
Oh, the prices are falling on real estate.
Well, yeah. And then we had 2 other properties that were for sale. One was for sale in August through September, and the owner was going, well, maybe I'll pull it off and put it on the market in the spring. And we finally put it in escrow, so it's a couple of months ago, and it took a while because we found out a problem that the owner didn't know with the foundation. So it took a while to figure out how much that was going to cost. And once we got the cost, the owner said, well, I'm willing to give the buyer the amount to fix it. And the buyer said, I don't really want to take on fixing it. So we ended the escrow. And he wanted to pull it. I said, well, let's put it back on for a couple of days and see what happens. And we can always put it back on or take it off. So we put it back on the market. And we got a full price. Well, not full price. We got him actually more than he would have agreed to with the last buyer cash first day.
Day one.
Day one. Going to close in a couple of weeks. And then the last one, the same thing. It was a house we had on the market during the summer. It was kind of the lull of the summer. And one of the buyers that tried to buy another property, we said, hey, we might have another one similar to this. So the owner said, hey, Hal, if you get somebody, we're not on the market, but I'll sell my place. And we got him a full price, all cash offer. So in a week, 3 basically full price or more offers, all cash, in the month of November, which we don't see that often.
Do we know what kind of buyers these are?
2 of them were families buying for their children.
Wow.
So family help, right? So these are not young people with cash. These are adults with adult-type children paying cash.
So that, I've always wondered, where the heck does somebody come up with $1 million or $1.5 million in cash? I've never been that person.
You had the wrong parents.
I had the wrong parents or grandparents, right? How do I compete?
The makeup of the buyers, those are the cash buyers. The other buyers are the buyers that can get kind of creative financing, where lenders will do a lot now in terms of letting a seller pay down, or if available, some resources so that the buyer can get a lower rate. 2-1 buy down. So roughly today, let's say rates are right around 7%. So if you get a 2-1 buy down, your first full year, you get 2% less. So that puts you at 5%. The next year is a 1, so 1% less. So now the second year it's 6%. And then in the third year, you go to your full 7%. Now, any time in there, if rates drop down, like there's a lot of discussion about that, you can just certainly refi it out of the 7%. So for a $600,000 mortgage, to get a 2-1 buy down, it's going to cost $14,000 up front to kind of pay that all down. Seller has to pay that. So oftentimes a seller is selling a house, and maybe a buyer comes in and goes, boy, I'll pay you full price, but if you give me a $14,000 credit, because I can't pay for it, it's called a temporary buy down. If you put that in, then I can buy your house for full price or maybe even more.
So the regulations say that as a buyer, I can't finance my own buy down.
Currently. Now, you're asking me lending things, but this is what I've been told. But it is a general rule. Yeah, we're on track with that.
Got it.
So here's the good news. That first year, you burn up $9,000 to $14,000, but at the end of the first year, let's say it's December 2024, a year from now, and you can get a 5% mortgage. Lock in the 5%, and you have the money that didn't get spent goes to your benefit, so you have more principal in the property. So these are the creative ways financing people are getting houses. Now, you're probably asking about how do you get it when you're competing against cash.
Yeah, how do I write a competitive offer to compete with an offer that's all cash?
With a good, usually local lender, because we have a track record, and we know if they say they can do it, they'll do it. They can come in with no financing contingency. They can come in with no appraisal contingency because they're putting enough down or whatever it is. Also, sometimes they just pay a little bit more to lock it up and not mess around. Sometimes they pay a little bit more over the asking price. Now, no buyer wants to hear that somebody's paying more than the asking price, right? John, we're in the old paradigm. It's like, well, you start here and you come in less and find somewhere in the middle. Now I try to tell people, don't get too caught up on what a seller and maybe their agent come together and decide to put the house on the market for. It could be over market, could be under market. So it's what's the value of the house?
And that's
You.
in the example you gave of last week where it went for 250,000 over. What we learned about the market is the listing price on the property was below what people were willing to pay for it.
Most of the comps, there was a 1.5 comp, and the sellers, anyway, they priced it a little below that. And I told them, well, you're going to get multiple offers. We just didn't know how high, right?
We didn't know 13.
We didn't anticipate 13, so they were happy. They're happy.
Yeah. I would bet your client would be happy to get 250,000 over what they put as a list price.
Yeah. So can I share something with you guys?
Sure.
I couldn't sleep all night because I got a fun game. I can't wait to play it. You guys want to play? I mean, it doesn't get any funner than this in real estate.
Before we play the fun game, because I know I want to keep you in suspense here.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the buy down for just a second?
Yeah.
Because you brought up the buy down. So the buy down is, for the $14,000 up front, I get to pay 2% less in the first year and 1% less in the second year, and then I'm back up to the rate. On a $600,000 mortgage, I think we looked at some numbers yesterday. We went from 7 to 5. It took the ultimate payment of $4,000 down to $3,200. Then in year 2 is $3,600.
Yeah.
To some people that might be a little scary. I get in at $3,200. I'm comfortable with the payment. But oh crud, 12 months from now it's going to 36, and 24 months from now it's going to $4,000. And I've always believed in betting on yourself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If we've got a $150,000 combined income, which I think is probably on the low end for an $800,000 house, and we each get a 6% raise in year 1, that's $9,000, $750 a month, somewhere in there, right?
Yep.
And my payment went up $400 a month.
Right.
Do you think I can handle it?
Yeah.
And then the next year, the same thing happens. So you kind of have to bet on yourself to say, hey, I'm going to do good work. I'm going to show value to my employer, or if I'm self-employed, I'm going to grow my company. I wouldn't be afraid of higher payments down the road because, most of us that have gone through our peak earning years, we were hopefully making a little bit more money year after year after year.
Yeah.
Especially when you get into your 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Right?
That's normal.
Yeah. So
really
the 2-1, don't be afraid of it. I mean, use it to your benefit.
Yeah. Well, and we're talking to probably a lot of first-time buyers or people that haven't been in the market for a while. And you got to realize you're not going to get a mortgage at 7% with a 2-1 buy down if you can't afford it.
If rates should come down, you're going to refinance the darn thing and lock in that lower rate for the rest of the term. Okay, so what are you excited about?
Oh, okay. So I want you to guess, and we go through a certain number of towns, whether prices were higher this past month of 2023 or lower than 2022.
Are you kidding me?
Higher or lower?
I'm psyched.
Game change. Now we're
I'm psyched.
Town by town.
See, this is almost as good as sports podcast.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Oh.
We're so advanced here.
Oh my gosh, my wife can see me through the window. She says, "You got to just tape that all shut."
Calm it down.
I get that. I get that expression a lot.
Yeah, we do have a
Please
crowd.
clamp it down.
We have a crowd outside the studio.
We have one glass door. Yeah, it's going to get shattered. Okay, so Templeton's a small market, so this one's tougher. Okay, prices higher this year or lower this year than last year in the town of Templeton?
You live in Templeton. I'll let you go first.
I'm going to say higher.
Okay. Higher. John?
Well, I'm almost 100% of my answers will be higher, but I'm going to go lower because those guys said higher.
You just want to mix it up. So, nope. Average price this year, 1.233. Last year, 927. So prices were higher in our November sales
one
this
for
year.
us.
And how many properties was that?
Okay, only 6 closed versus 10. Now, Templeton's a small market,
I
so
took stats in college, and that sample size is not big enough to make your answers relevant.
But sample size. Are you talking about your drinking habits? Small sample size, only 6 beers. Okay,
I told you this would be fun.
So Templeton now days on the market. Okay, higher this year or lower this year than a year ago?
Definitely higher.
Higher this year, he says. Okay,
I'm going to say higher.
You got a 25% chance of getting this right.
I'm going lower just because those guys went higher again.
Okay. No, it was slightly lower this year.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Attababe.
I'm not going to tell you by much, but it was a victory.
Okay.
So let's move to Paso. Okay. Prices higher this year or lower?
JT, you first.
I'm going higher.
Jeff?
I live there, and I've been watching some houses in my neighborhood and what they're doing. I'm going to say higher.
It took you a lot longer to think higher?
Come on. I don't think it's that much higher, but I'm going to say higher.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm going to say higher.
You're all right who said higher. 781 average price, 16 more sales than last year, and versus 718. So what's that difference? 60 grand? Not 10%, a little less than 10.
Paso's a market that I think we all ought to keep our eye on going forward.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
there
a
are
great
some
place.
there are some things that are going to go on. I predict that there'll be a time when we look back and go, remember when San Luis was bigger than Paso?
Yeah, like Arroyo Grande. Our prices in Arroyo Grande used to be a lot cheaper, are not that much different anymore.
No.
They've kind of, they're melding together.
I don't know what the population is of San Luis now. I've always said 45,000. Haven't changed my answer in years,
Yeah.
but it's close to that.
Yeah.
I mean, not
Gotta
counting
be more.
the students,
Gotta be more.
but Paso's got to be up above 30.
There's a
now.
lot of new building.
Yeah.
A lot of new building. in Paso.
So Paso sales, days on the market, less or more? Easy answer. Yeah, higher or lower?
I'm going less.
Less days this year versus last, Jeff?
Higher.
Higher, more days?
I'm going to say less.
Less days. If you said less days, you are correct. 21 days versus 30 last year. Small
I'm
difference.
winning this thing. I know
Okay.
that.
Gotcha. Let's go to Morro Bay.
Morro Bay.
Okay, prices
Oh, no.
higher this year or lower?
Well, how many houses sold, first of all, so I can
don't
preface my answer?
Don't change it up.
You can't change the rules of the game. Door number one, A or B? What was the door numbers you could pick? What was that game show?
Let's make a
Let's
deal.
make a deal.
Yeah.
Door number one or door number two?
Go ahead, Jeff. What do you think?
Higher or lower in Morro Bay?
Morro Bay. I'm going to say higher.
Okay.
Higher in Morro Bay.
I'm going to say lower.
Lower. James, okay.
I'm going higher.
Okay. So actually they're lower this year.
Oh,
This whole town we
Jesus.
talked about. Yeah, 1,055,000, only 3 sales.
Yeah, come on.
Last year there was 11, so yeah, John, you
Home values are higher in
1
Morro
point.
Bay than they were a year ago.
Yeah.
Real quick, JT, population of Paso is 31,759. Oh, that's 2021. And
it's probably close to this.
47,540.
47. Okay.
And slow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay, let's go to Los Osos. Prices higher this year or lower than last year? JT says higher.
Yeah, I say higher.
Higher.
I'm going to say lower to be a contrarian.
Lower. Okay, gotcha. So 840 this year, 1,022,000 last year.
Wow.
Almost the same number of sales. So the prices are actually lower this year. Kind of
Well,
surprising.
the lower priced homes sold because
That's a
interest
good
rates
point.
are higher.
Yeah, could be. Could be. Okay. Ooh, San Luis Obispo, higher this year or lower? You guys have already, I think you already know the answer to this one.
Always higher in San Luis Obispo.
Higher. James?
Yeah, higher.
Higher. Yep. So 1.285 this year on 32 sales and 1,002,000 on 27 sales last year.
32 sales in San Luis last month.
Yep.
Wow.
So days on the market this year, lower or higher than last year?
I would say the trends would say it was higher, but heck, I don't have a clue.
Okay. We'll go with your gut. What did you say?
Higher.
Higher.
Yeah, I'm going to stay with them.
No, days on the market is lower this year.
Wow.
Yeah. You do see homes, a lot more homes seem like they're taking more time, but it just depends on the community. Let's go to Grover Beach. Okay. Higher or lower this year?
Well, my gut would say higher.
I'm going to say higher.
Yep.
Talking price, right?
They're talking price.
I'm going to say lower.
You're a thinker.
Good things are happening
Okay.
at Grover Beach.
So
Come on.
we had 786 this year, 689 last year.
That'd be higher.
Days,
Yep. We're higher.
That'd be higher.
Yeah.
Yep. Days on the market, higher or lower?
I don't have a clue. I'll go with
I'll
higher.
just. I can't wait for you guys. I'm too impatient. It's lower days. 12
There we
days on
go.
the market this year versus 29.
12.
Yep.
Wow.
Last chance. Here it is to get it right. This is for the grand prize.
Okay.
We got a Luna bar over there and some Cheetos.
Oh, yes.
Okay. This is for the winner. You got to win both. Okay. Higher or lower in Atascadero on prices? Dun, dun,
I'm
dun,
going.
dun,
I'm
dun,
going
dun,
higher.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm going to go higher.
I'm going to go lower.
Okay, 816 this year, 757 last year. That is a higher. So you got playoff between you two.
Yeah, I'm out.
Days on the market, higher or lower in Atascadero?
Higher.
I'll take lower, but.
And Mr. Kingman at 24 is lower than last year 26.
Did you
oh
peek?
my God, by 2 days.
It's lower.
Still lower. It's still
Did
the
you
under.
peek at the answers?
Cheetos. Cheetos and a Luna bar over there.
Cheetos, there you go.
Is that a fully no? Give him the one that's partially opened. The Cheetos bag that's half open
And chewed on.
Yeah, and chewed on. Yeah, look at he's collecting immediately.
So Hal, it was a fun game. What did we learn? Well, what's going on in the marketplace?
You know, how's the market? It's like, how's the stock market? How's the beef market? It's up and down and things change, and who knows?
But that's contrary to what we hear in the world.
It is.
It really is. I mean, when you sit there and you break it down by numbers like that, and then and we're having to think about it, and you went with your gut because you've been in this business for a long time.
I'm always going to guess higher.
Yeah, you're always going to get.
Well, that's because he's got an 85% chance of being right.
Yeah, I do.
But I would think the general consensus population would have bet lower on that stuff, and that couldn't be any further from the truth.
We study this stuff daily, and the general population doesn't. Mm-hmm. So I'm not throwing stones at anybody. It's just that the general population of people that we talk to on a daily basis don't realize that 90% of the last 80 years, home values have gone up in this country. That I would think if you ask somebody on the street, you'd get a different answer.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's put it in context too. We're comparing December of last year versus December of this year. So last year was a big change year. Up through March, things were crazy. Interest rates were low. Rates went up real fast. So if you're in real estate, last April through December, you're going, which way is up? Because this market changed so quickly. It was last year, about the end of December, I remember some properties we had that hadn't been moving started to move. It had been a rough and rugged 6 to 8 months at the final part of 2022. Mm-hmm. Okay. This year, we're already seeing it's already better a month earlier than last year. And if what I read about and there's predictions about rate drops happens, then it's going to be a more robust year next year.
I got real excited when I heard somebody say we were going to talk about that on our next podcast, 2024.
That's what we're going to do.
2024. Can you believe it? It's December early. I'm not supposed to give a date, right, Jeff? It's early.
Yes.
In December, and 2024 is not far away.
Time to go shopping.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it. I'm done.
Yes. Okay, good.
All right. Gentlemen, anything else? Do we have anything
no, just thanks to our great listeners. It's James, thanks for setting this up. We get a lot of great feedback, so we're going to try to provide information that our SLO County real estate listeners and people of interest enjoy. So that's what we're here for.
And those of you that are listening from out of the San Luis Obispo County area, if you have a topic or anything you want us to discuss to help you out, just shoot Hal an email, hal@teamswayze.com. You can shoot me an email, JT.
It would be fun. It would be fun to get a bunch of questions from people outside the area that are thinking about relocating.
Yeah.
That really want to know, the nuts and bolts of people. I mean, if you're reaching out to Team Sweasey through a podcast that you heard, then you're pretty serious about it, if that's the case.
And by the way, if you're from out of the area, it was 82 degrees in downtown San Luis today and 73 at the beach.
And what was the temperature at Lambeau Field?
Yeah, I don't know, but it was cold. I'll tell you what, this is the best place in the world.
Okay, thank you.
All right, gentlemen.
See you next week.
It's a beautiful day today here in San Luis Obispo. Talk to you later, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Hal Sweasey podcast. Be sure to subscribe and rate this podcast. Check for it in your feed for the latest information on the San Luis Obispo County market. The SLO County Real Estate with Hal Sweasey podcast is available wherever you get your podcast and on halsweasey.com, where you can find current listings and other real estate tips. halsweasey.com, that's HALSWEASEY.com. I am James Bueno, Director of Marketing for the Hal Sweasey Group. If you're looking for anything real estate, give us a call, 805-781-3750.
Hal Sweasey is a licensed California real estate broker. DRE number 01111-911. The SLO County Real Estate with Hal Sweasey podcast is a production of AGM Podcasts. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.